Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my NFL predictions. Of course, you guys are like, what in the world? He's actually making another video? Yes. I completely missed last week. Just blew it, man. Absolutely blew it. Of course. I mean, it's so hard to find time for this channel, which with how much stuff I'm doing, and I keep on trying to do my darndest, but last week was just too busy. I had an NFL video made and everything, but then in halfway through the recording, I got a phone call, got busy, and I wasn't able to finish it. And then once that one didn't get out again, it just spiraled. I didn't make the college football one, which was the big one, the big no-no. NFL, this ain't an NFL channel. This is a college football guy, but college football, that's a big miss. So I apologize for being a stupid, dumbass loser, but all good things have a bad, and all bad things have a good. I may have found a potential solution, because the thing is I never can get one or the other out. There's rarely ever a week where I get a review, both reviews and both prediction videos out. It's just so much video making with such little time for me to actually spend on this. Well, I had a prediction video for the NFL ready. I tried recording it. I never finished it. Those predictions are still intact. So all I did was just slap on the review portion of it with the real final scores. And then on the second half, I just did the predictions for this week. I was like, well, what's the point of getting rid of the actual prediction video? So we're doing a double whammy. Now, this is a little funky. Might seem stupid, but if I carry this over into next week, now that I'd have an NFL prediction for this week and an NFL review, next week I'd just be able to do the review and the prediction in one video. Yes, the video is going to be 2 hours long. Not really, but very, very long video. But at the very least, you just split it into two, one half for this day, one half for the next day. I don't know, something like that. At least that way for me, it becomes a whole lot easier to just do the longest part about making these videos. It's not making the slides. It's not recording. It's just the time it takes to upload the videos, to cut it, trim it, which is very small. But then it's when you have to save it, and then when you have to upload it and make the thumbnail, that is the longest part. And that's honestly where a lot of videos don't end up making it out. This part is the easy part, in my opinion. I'm just talking. I'm talking over some slides. It's the part of downloading where things can get interesting, because I try to I'm all right, this is downloading. I'm going to go get this done, and then I'll come back to this. And then that ends up spiraling into getting a bunch of other shit done and not this. That's usually where things fall apart. Hopefully that should Hopefully that should shed some insight on what's been going on, and a potential solution, a potential way to get out of this. Hopefully I'll be able to execute this. Unfortunately, we're kind of we're getting towards the end, but maybe next year it'll be a lot more functional. But with that being said, a like and subscribe, and up a comment always helps. Let's get straight into this. So we're doing the review for last week, which there was no prediction video for, so it's going to seem a little funky. Source on these predictions, trust me, bro. You guys don't have to believe these predictions, but this was written up and ready to be posted. I just never finished the video, which sucks. But I was like, you know what, why would I delete these predictions? These were my predictions. So in my prediction video, I said there was no way that the Patriots were going to let the Jets beat them. There was no way they were going to let the Jets beat them. They actually got down to start the game, but then they got up 21-7. I was like, all right, things are looking good. But then in the third, the Jets actually scored a tutty to make it a 14-21 game. But then 2 field goals make it a 13-point game. The Jets just couldn't find any offense. They just couldn't find any offense. The Patriots, of course, could find offense because they're a 9-2 football team that's pretty good. They just really struggled, man. I don't really think it is Justin Fields' fault that they're struggling so much. He is their leading rusher, and that is with Breece Hall on the football team. And he didn't even like perform super awful through the air. I mean, 26 attempts, 15 completions, 116 yards, and a touchdown. Not by any means not by any means the greatest, but definitely not like, god awful. He took 2 sacks for 11 yards. It's just like he doesn't really have anybody to throw to. I mean, he's got John Mechie III, wide receiver from Alabama. Never heard of him. Mason Taylor, I'm pretty sure this is his first season in the league. I don't know if he got drafted this year or last year. He's 21 years old, went to LSU, caught the game winner against Alabama in overtime, whatever year that was. And then like Jeremy Rucker, another tight end from Ohio State. Adonai Mitchell, the person they traded for, I'm pretty sure from the Colts. Or is that a different person? I believe he was on the Colts. Didn't really do much. I mean, there's just not very many options. There's just not very many options for Justin Fields to go to. And honestly, the running game was the only thing keeping them going. Like I said, Breece Hall is, Breece Hall, and he's still getting outran by Justin Fields, but still, he didn't have a bad game. 14 carries, 58 yards. Justin Fields, 11 carries, 67 yards. It's just the passing game, man. It was just weak, and I don't necessarily blame Justin Fields for that. They also had 7 penalties for 62 yards in a game against the Patriots that will kill you. So they end up taking another loss. The Patriots, of course, they look great right now. They continue to win games. It's actually crazy that they started off the year with a loss to the Raiders and then a loss to the Steelers, and since then, they haven't lost. They started off 1-2. They have just been dominant since then. They're a pretty good football team, and this is the first time I've seen a 9-2 Patriots team that I haven't absolutely despised. Like, seriously. The old ones, it was so old, so annoying. It's like now that it is a new and rejuvenated team, I don't mind it. Commanders versus Dolphins. No Jaden Daniels. I'm pretty sure in this game, no Jaden Daniels. I didn't watch it because it was so early. Yeah, Marcus Mariota versus Tua Tagovailoa. And, yeah, I mean, the Dolphins were starting to get things figured out. They are starting to get things figured out, definitely. They obviously got destroyed by the Browns, which looked like it was season over. But then they came back and absolutely killed the Falcons. Got beat up pretty good by the Ravens, but that's a pretty underrated Ravens team. And then they absolutely destroyed the Bills. And then most recently, obviously this game, they did what they did. No spoilers, but they won. They're getting their stuff figured out. But, the Commanders, they beat the Chargers, right? They lost to the Bears by a point. And they've got, wins. Not very many, but they've got some wins. They're just injury infested. In the past teams they played, the Cowboys' loss was bad, but they lost to the Chiefs, the Seahawks, and the Lions. I mean, those are top teams. You're going up against the Dolphins with the chance to get things back on the right foot. You play a competitive game, or I expected the Commanders to. I thought they would take this one against the Dolphins. And the Dolphins have been inconsistent. They get a big win over the Falcons, but then they lose to the Ravens really bad. But then they beat the Bills. Then it's like you expect them to lose to the Commanders. But this time they didn't. They actually went into overtime. Now, the fact of the matter is this is a Commanders team without Jaden Daniels. And the Dolphins are still struggling as much as they were to get into the end zone and just really cause any problems. I mean, Devon Achane is this football team. 21 carries, 120 yards, almost more rushing yards than their quarterback's passing yards. Tua took 3 sacks for 29 yards, no touchdowns, but key, no interceptions. 14 for 20, 171 yards. The Commanders had more yards of offense, but when you're 0 for 3 in the red zone, you can't find the end zone at all, or like barely, yeah. And they turned the ball over twice. They fumbled it, and they threw an interception. So, first quarter, both teams take long, time-consuming drives that end up pretty much resulting in all field goals, and then this is a bad one. The Commanders missed a field goal from the Miami 33, a 51-yarder. Nothing crazy for an NFL kicker. That right there keeps the game untied, which also is the difference in the score. Commanders kick a field goal before going into halftime. A 14-play, 82-yard drive that ended up pretty much just being destroyed by the fact that they had a horribly timed penalty at the Miami 15 that pushed them back to the Miami 25. They got a big play, a big Deebo Samuel play for 12 yards to put them at the 12. They choose to take their 3. Another drive that they took from the Washington 6 all the way down the field that they couldn't finish. And even the first drive of the game, they went 71 yards. Oh, I'm sorry. Washington did score a touchdown. I don't know why it says they're 0 for 3 in the red zone, but they did end up scoring a touchdown on a pass to Deebo Samuel. That's the last time they would put up points in this game. You get downs. You failed to go for it on downs on 4th and goal at the Miami 1-yard line when the game was tied. The Dolphins end up kicking a field goal. Or I'm sorry, what am I saying? Dolphins end up punting the ball, but they muff it, and the Dolphins get the ball back, which the Dolphins then try to go for a 4th and goal at the 1, and they can't do it. And how does the Commanders retaliate? A 56-yarder missed to send it into overtime, and then one play, interception, and the Dolphins walk it off on a field goal. So realistically, I mean, when you look at the way things worked out, the Commanders had plenty of opportunities to win this game. Plenty. They just couldn't execute, and that's what makes 3-8 teams 3-8 teams, and 4-7 teams 4-7 teams. Two absolute juggernauts here. Bengals at Steelers. You could expect the Bengals offense to maybe put up some points, not to win a game, but to just put up some points, and they just didn't really feel like it. And the crazy thing is Aaron Rodgers is dead. And Mason Rudolph came in and actually played, I wouldn't say played better. Like it's the Bengals defense, so let's not freak out. But like he actually came in and just won the game. Like you'd think that'd be a momentum shift for the Bengals, but yeah, and I mean what really did it is in the third quarter a 73-yard pick six just kills you, you know, like that. The game was 9-13 in the third quarter. It was actually a defensive one, and then boom, pick six. Of course, the Bengals are like, let's play field goals, and then touchdown Steelers, and then literally 18 seconds later, 34-yard fumble recovery. So they had 2 defensive touchdowns. So it actually did lie on the defensive side of the ball more. It lied on the defensive side of the ball more than I would have thought. But, yeah, the Bengals offense just didn't really feel like doing anything. So another win for the Steelers. They are really, really trying to get that 9-8 spot. You know, they've got wins over the Colts and Bengals, obviously, and they've got wins. They've got some wins over football teams. And they have to play at the Bears, host the Bills, at the Ravens, host the Dolphins, at Lions, at Browns, Steelers. So they are lining up for 9-8 town. They're lining up for it, man. All right, Chargers at Jaguars. What in God's green earth happened in this game? Well, here was my prediction. I actually picked oh my God, I actually picked the Jaguars. Holy shit, what a prediction. I did not remember this one. I did not remember picking this one. Let's go. Finally, good pick. Anybody care to share some insight what happened in this game? 8 first downs for the Chargers, 135 total yards, and 1 interception. I mean, just awful. Just awful. I don't really remember what I said about this one, but I guess I picked the fucking Jaguars. What a crazy pick. I did not think I would pick them. And yeah, I mean, the Jaguars just own this freaking game. Like, Justin Herbert was the leading. Oh, there's no run game for the Chargers right now. Yeah, this was bad. They even put in Trey Lance at a point. There's literally Justin Herbert's leading rusher in 3 carries for 21 yards. You know, when there's no run game, like the defense has so much more freedom. And That's pretty much all there is to it. Lad McConkey didn't really have a good game. Of course, Quentin Johnston didn't even catch a ball. Keenan Allen was the leading receiver, and then, of course, that tight end, Rondé Gadskin. I don't know how to say that shit. But the Jaguars absolutely go down to Pound Town on the Chargers. And again, the Chargers were looking like one of the best teams in the league, and now they're just looking like crap, just like last season. Bucks at Bills. What an interesting little game. Definitely expected an offensive matchup between these two. 26-33. Ended up being a little bit more than that. Come on, play the next slide. There we go. All right, 32-44 was the final score. I actually did pick the Bucks in this one because I've been a believer. I'm sorry, I picked the Bills. I've been a believer in the Bucks, but every time I seem to pick them, they seem to let me down. I picked them against the Lions. No. I picked them against the Eagles. No. And I picked them against I think I picked them against the Patriots. I don't remember. But yeah, they're just unfortunately not that good. They are good. They're just really, really hurt right now. They're just really hurt. Emeka Egbuka obviously had a great start to the year, but no Mike Evans. Not really sure when he's going to be back or if he was even in the game and he just didn't get the ball thrown to him. The best receiver so far for Tampa Bay has been Sterling Shepard or Emeka Egbuka, and that's pretty much it. The running game, of course, Sean Tucker, go ahead and figure. Sean Tucker, Rachaad White, and then I think Bucky is probably hurt. And Baker Mayfield, of course. Like, the offense was great. 32 points out of the Bucks. The offense was great. Baker had a good game. But still, they're doing all this without all their usual weapons. It's kind of seeming like it's holding them down. And the Bills just, even though they had more turnovers, they win the football game. Bills do Bills things. When Josh Allen's up against a terrible defense, he doesn't blink. And the Bills take a win here. Bears at Vikings. Yeah, this one sucks because the whole week I remember looking at this one. The whole week I thought I picked the Bears in this one. And I was like, oh, wow, what a prediction, man. Like, that was really close. I thought I picked them. Nope, I didn't pick them. I picked the Vikings, of course, like a stupid dumbass. I even had J.J. McCarthy on my fantasy team, and he really just felt like doing nothing. Again, just like the first game the Bears played against the Vikings, they were down the whole time, and then in the fourth quarter, they finally figured out some offense, scored a touchdown with 50 seconds left, but too much time for the Bears to go down the field. Off of a big kickoff return. That's right. There was a big kick return, which led to pretty much just a 4-yard run, 2-yard, pretty sure those are knees. And then a 7-yard run by DeAndre Swift to make it 4th and 1. And then they just line up the field goal and kick a game winner. Bears are very, very weird. They're 7-3, but do we really feel like they're 7-3? Barely beat the Giants. I'm pretty sure off of a comeback. The game they were down by 10. In the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left, they managed to come back somehow and win, even though the Giants aren't good. They somehow beat the Bengals, which we all saw. Got destroyed by the Ravens. Beat the Saints, beat the Commanders by 1 point, beat the Raiders by 1 point, kicked the crap out of the Cowboys, got absolutely killed by the Lions, and lost to the Vikings. So, really, like, the schedule only gets harder from here for the Bears. Even this week, they have to play the Steelers, but I'm not too sure Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing, so we'll see how that works. But then at Eagles, at Packers, host Browns, there you go, that's another easy one. Host Packers, at Niners, host Bears. There's a lot of losses left for the Bears. I don't really know if they're actually going to be a playoff team, but my God, did their schedule try. They have a lot of easy teams. Texans at Titans. CJ Stroud is no longer And it shows because this team without CJ Stroud, which how much crap like CJ Stroud has received, he deserves some flowers. There's no reason the Texans should only be winning this game by 3 points. The Titans are a 1-win football team, which that win was a crazy game against the Cardinals, of course, because that just makes me feel so happy. Now the Titans have been more competitive recently. They lost to the Chargers by 7, and then obviously they played this game, But CJ Stroud, I think he was on concussion protocol. I'm not really too sure. Let's see what his projection is for this upcoming week against. Oh, are they on a bye? No, they're not. Okay, I'm sorry. CJ Stroud is no. It looks like he's going to be out for this Colts game. So yeah, I mean, should we really even care? Like they without CJ Stroud, Davis Mills, 274 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 sacks for 34 yards. He was 26 for 41 for those 274 yards. I mean, when you're just going to let him throw the ball over the field, it's like, yeah. Woody Marks got the most carries. Nick Chubb still just, a shell of his former self, and it makes me sad. But the crazy thing about the Texans is they just decided, let's go ahead and pick up the 2 wide receivers from Iowa State. They picked up Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins. And, I mean, they haven't really – I mean, Jaden Higgins has been pretty good. But in terms of Noel, I'm not really sure if he's been too great. But, dude, what a crazy idea there to pick up both the receivers from Iowa State. Pretty interesting. But the Texans pick up a win here. And Panthers at Falcons. Unfortunately, the Falcons have just been on a slump. The Falcons have just been on a giant slump. They're the best 3-7 team in the country. All right. 3-point loss to open the season because a kicker can't kick against the Bucks. Got absolutely destroyed by the Panthers in a stunner. But then they beat the Commanders, which obviously doesn't look as good. And then they beat the Bills. That looks damn great. Lost by 10 at the Niners. Got destroyed by the Dolphins. Really makes you wonder what was going on. Then they play at the Patriots and lose by 1 point. They play the Colts and lose in overtime. And then they play the Panthers and lose in overtime. They've lost by 1 point in overtime. Those are their 3 losses. I said the Falcons would win this one 24-31. They lost in overtime, like I said. And it looks like Michael Penix is done for the year. Confirmed that Penix sustained a partially torn ACL in his left knee, which means Michael Penix's season is over. And that's kind of scary because Penix, he's had injury history, man. Like, he has a bad injury history. And it kind of disappeared for that Washington season and for his rookie year. And then he tears his ACL. And it's like, is he going to recover in the same way? He's wear and tear right now. And Kirk Cousins came in place, did not play good. Yeah, and I don't know. I don't think things are going up. This looks kind of like the Cardinals for me. This team seems like they're going to have a rough finish to the year. Packers at Giants. I actually said this one would be offensive. I don't think I accounted for the fact that Jameis Winston was going to be the starting quarterback. I actually thought Dart was going to be in. But I just expected them to play good against the Packers for some reason. And the Packers would win in some crazy close game against the Giants because the Packers aren't that good and the Giants are really bad. And they won by 7 on the road, And the Giants, of course, had an opportunity at the end to at least tie it. But Jameis the Lord could not relieve him of pick sixes. So they end up taking another loss. Seahawks at Rams. I picked the Seahawks in this one, and God, they should have won this game. And the Seahawks are Super Bowl contenders, man. The fact is they had almost 200 more yards than the Rams, yet they turned the ball over 3 more times, 4 in total, and they are only losing 19-21, and they even had an opportunity to kick a game winner. Now, it was far-fetched, and if he would have hit it, that would have been crazy. But still, they even had an opportunity at the end. The Rams managed to steal one here. And the Seahawks are probably the best team in the conference. Even though the Rams are a 2-loss team, I think the Seahawks are real Super Bowl contenders right now. Sam Darnold has actually just fit the team so well, and they are just good, man. That's all there is to it. 49ers at Cardinals. Needeth I say more? Season's over. Too many injuries. Jacoby Brissett's not the answer. Getting rid of Kyler Murray is not the answer. And I can't wait to get another first-round pick. Yay! Ravens at Browns. Oh, this is this is still this week. Ravens at Browns. I expected the Ravens to absolutely dominate, and they just didn't, which was kind of weird. You know, earlier in the season, I mentioned the fact that the Ravens normally dominate the Browns in one game, but then the Browns will somehow manage to pick up a game and beat the Ravens somehow. And they could have, but the problem is their quarterback got hurt. And really just Shador couldn't come in and play football. Like, Dylan Gabriel has been doing good as a rookie. He was 7 for 10. I think he actually got hurt fairly earlier on. I'm not really too sure, but, Dylan Gabriel was 7 for 10, 68 yards. Shador was 4 for 16, 47 yards, an interception, 2 sacks for 27 yards lost. I mean, he played awful. It was terrible. Now, granted, it's his first start in a conference game against the Ravens, but still, he was horrible. Thank God NFL scouts did not pick him at 3rd overall. That would have been bad. Chiefs at Broncos. I'm proud of this one. I said the Broncos would win a close one because they have all season, and a lot of people were picking the Chiefs in this one for no reason. All right, listen, the Chiefs have lost a lot of close games. The Broncos have won a lot of close games. The Chiefs are a good football team, but do not sleep on the Broncos just because they're winning close games. They're winning games. That's the thing, bro. They managed to come back against the Eagles and win that football game. And, they should have beaten the Colts. And the Colts got bailed out by some random-ass penalty. And they end up winning by 1 point. Lose to the Chargers when the Chargers and Justin Herbert were playing like the best fucking team in the damn country. And, those are their 2 losses. They were 1-2 to start the season. They've just won every single game. I don't care how close the wins are and how, weird they are. They're wins. Last year when the Chiefs were doing it, people were giving the Chiefs all the praise. They were calling them overrated and bailed out by the refs, by the fans, but still, NFL experts and stuff were saying the Chiefs are this, the Chiefs are that. For some reason, NFL experts and stuff are nobody's giving the Broncos their flowers for being 9-2. They play at the Commanders, then they play the Raiders, Packers, Jaguars, Chiefs, Chargers. They literally could be the 1 seed in the AFC, and people want to call that crazy. Defense wins championships. The Broncos are a good football team. We could see a freaking Seahawks-Broncos Super Bowl. That would be crazy. Eagles at Lions. This one, it actually wasn't Eagles at Lions, and I fixed this. I said the Lions would win this one. Now, if I would have properly made the slide and seen that it was at the Eagles, I probably would have thought differently. But considering I thought it was at the Lions, which is a crazy place to play, I thought the Lions were going to score some points offensively. The Lions' defense isn't the prettiest thing ever. So I was like, all right, give me the Lions in an offensive one. See, now I swap it. And they lost on an absolute bullshit penalty. They were going to get the ball back and maybe have a potential shot at going down and tying the game or going for 2 and winning it, knowing Dan Campbell. And they got screwed. That penalty was bullshit. That was absolute bullshit. I can't believe, now that the Chiefs aren't that good, it's literally I can't believe I'm still seeing games be decided by fucking penalties. It's just dumb. That was not a penalty, and the Lions kind of got screwed. But, yeah. You got to be better offensively as the Lions. The Eagles are not the craziest football team ever. Cowboys at Raiders. What else is there that needs to be said? The Cowboys won a football game against the Raiders. And now, if you would like to take your breather, I really would. I wish I could just pack this one up and start editing it right now because I've been talking for 12 hours, but we're going straight into the next one. Bills at Texans. This is our Week 12 predictions now. Bills at Texans. That is played tonight at 6:15 p.m. No Davis or no CJ Stroud, Josh Allen. Yes, the Texans have a really good defense, but when you're not able to move the ball and you're going to punt or you're going to turn it over, the Bills with offensive possessions are going to score points. So give me the Bills by quite a bit. Colts at Chiefs. Daniel Jones is still questionable right now. He's still questionable at Patrick Mahomes' stadium. Colts haven't looked too pretty recently. Even when Daniel Jones was healthy, they kind of got stomped on by the Steelers, barely beat the Falcons in OT, and then they hit their bye week. So, maybe some rejuvenation in the bye week, but I've seen this before with football teams that just get insanely hot starts, and then they kind of fizzle out, a.k.a. the 2021 Cardinals. So give me the Chiefs here. The Chiefs, they're obviously, I wouldn't say they're having issues, all right? They've lost to a lot of good teams, all right? Like, to open up the year, they were playing against a Chargers team that was playing like the best team in the country. They lost by 3 to the Eagles. They lost in a very close game against a good Jaguars team. They absolutely stomped the Lions' teeth in. They stomped the Raiders. I mean, not impressive, but then they lost by 7 to the Bills. Most recently, they lost by 3 to the Broncos. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 5 of those teams are extremely good teams this year. The Chiefs are not bad. They've just had a brutal schedule. I mean, 5 losses is by no means a bad record to have. And I do think this one is another test, but I think the Chiefs are going to get this one done in their home stadium. Steelers at Bears. The Bears, they're beating a lot of bad teams, and they're not beating them convincingly, but they are 7-3, and that does mean something. The Steelers, no Aaron Rodgers, great defense, though, and they like to win football games. I'm going to take the Bears, but don't be surprised if the Steelers somehow win this one. I feel like this is going to be just a matchup of the power of friendship. Like, which team believes in themselves more? Like, Caleb Williams and the Bears they have at their times looked really good. But also the Steelers and their tight ends have also looked really good offensively sometimes. And both teams have pretty solid defenses. So this one really is a coin toss for me. Could be either or. Patriots at Bengals. Drake May's moving different. Bengals are not. Give me the Patriots by quite the offensive score. Jets at Ravens. A lot of interesting matchups this week between good teams and relatively poop teams. But yeah, give me the Ravens. There's not really much I need to say about a lot of these games. Like, there's really just not much I have to talk about. This is really just a week of football. Here we go. Vikings at Packers. Vikings, Vikings obviously lose one at the buzzer last week against the Bears. But ultimately, like, the Vikings got to get themselves out of positions like this. The Vikings somehow beat the Lions in the Lions Stadium. Go figure. They also got absolutely killed by the Chargers. They lost a close one, in quotations, to the Eagles by 6 points, but Eagles had that one. Lost against the Steelers in a game the Steelers swept the whole time. They absolutely killed the Bengals. That one didn't make sense. They got destroyed by the Falcons, and then they somehow pulled out that comeback against the Bears. The Vikings are not that good, and their record is about the same level as their team. Going into the Packers Stadium, even though the Packers have not looked too good and the Panthers managed to get it done, I don't think there's any way that the Vikings go in here and beat the Packers. Sometimes the Packers do look like a very good damn football team. And in their home stadium, I expect them to win this game, especially against a conference opponent. The Panthers are one thing. They're just a nobody that you should be beating, and they managed to pull off something incredible. But against the Vikings, this is a matchup that fans want to win, and this is a matchup that players want to win. This one means more than a random game against the Panthers. So I expect the Packers to play good. Giants at Lions. Dart should be off a concussion protocol. Giants like to play competitive football games. But the Lions are an extremely highly offensive team. They're 6-4. Obviously, kind of got screwed against the Eagles, but still lost. Loss against the Vikings makes no sense. Got destroyed by the Chiefs. And obviously lost first game of the year against the Packers in a game their offense really just was like super non-existent. So they're looking for a win. Yeah, they're looking for a win right now. I don't know what just happened to my ESPN. But I expect them to. You know, their offense has been seemingly good. Yeah, what is going on with my phone? Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn that bad boy off now. No more looksies. No more looksies. Jags at Cardinals. I don't need to talk about it. The Cardinals season is just Bon Jover. Gotten destroyed 2 weeks in a row by beating ourselves down, you know, against the Seahawks. Obviously, we gave them 14 points off of just fumbles straight into the end zone. And the Niners, we had 17 penalties for 130 yards. We had more offense than the 49ers, but you're just giving them everything. You're giving them everything in the world. The Cardinals can't put their shit together this season. It's going to give them a first-round pick. It's probably going to kick Kyler Murray out of town. But, yeah, obviously I really thought this was going to be a good season for the Cardinals. It had a lot of potential, too. We started off 2-0, and a lot of close games, a lot of close losses. And it's just falling apart in front of us. Jaguars are also a pretty damn good team this year, so give me the Jaguars. Browns at Raiders. I don't care. Give me the Browns. Their defense has been good. The Raiders have really struggled with anything offensively, especially on their O-line. I expect Geno to get sacked and throw interceptions. And in terms of the offense, I think Shedeur played he played a tough team in his first showing, you know. Cut him some slack. I think he's going to play a little better against the Raiders, especially now. Max Crosby is going to try and kill him, but I think he's going to play a little better. Falcons at Saints. I'm going to take the Saints here. You know, Kirk Cousins obviously is a shell of his former self. I've said that like twice or three times today, but he's not the same person he was, especially when he was swag surfing in Atlanta and then he was getting booed. You know, he put up a record-breaking performance, and then he just got replaced by Michael Penix. So, yeah, and I mean, now that he's on the field, he didn't look good in the last game. I don't think he'll be any better here. And the Saints actually might have found something with the second-string quarterback that they weren't playing instead of Rattler. You know, the moment they put him in, they actually ended up playing a damn good football game against the what is their face? The Panthers. They actually played a good football game against the Panthers. Then they hit the bye, and now they get to play another conference opponent. You know, they're looking for wins. I mean, in a crazy world, they could win out the rest of their schedule, which is doable. You know, you pick up a win here against the Panthers, win against the Falcons, win against the Dolphins, win against the Bucks. That's the hard one. Win against the Panthers. That's also a pretty hard one. Win against the Jets, win against the Titans, win against the Falcons. There's really two, maybe three games that are hard that you would have to win. You could be 9-8. I mean, that is absolutely crazy to say, and probably wouldn't even be enough to get them into the playoffs. But considering how many good teams there are in the NFC right now. But I'm just saying, like, you know, they could somehow find a way to pull it off. Eagles at Cowboys. Gosh, these feel like matchups from like eons ago, but they're just actually coming back around. Eagles at Cowboys. Cowboys played Eagles very, very tough to start the year, and it actually looked like the Cowboys were going to be a pretty good team, especially since they could have won. CD just couldn't catch a football. And George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, they've all looked really good, obviously. Their offense has been very good this year. They're coming off of a confidence booster win after a confidence demoralizer against the Cardinals. And, yeah, I mean, their defense just needs to put one and two together, and the Eagles' offense has just been atrocious this season. I do think the Eagles are going to manage to get it done, probably because of turnovers and just finally figuring things out, especially with the tushy-pushy. But, yeah, give me the Eagles, but in a close one. The Cowboys honestly could manage to win this football game. Bucks at Rams. The Bucks have a juggernaut this season, man. They have an absolute juggernaut. They've played the Eagles, the Seahawks, the Niners, the Lions, the Patriots, the Bills, and now the Rams. And it gets easier from this point on after this game. But at the Rams just picked up a huge conference win against the Seahawks. I'm going to take the Rams here. The Rams have looked like one of the better teams all season. Puka is a crazy man. And just the offense for the Rams is really hard to stop. But more importantly, their defense has been a serious problem this year. Like, they have actually, even though there's been a lot of high-scoring games for the Rams, there's been a lot of really solid performances from the Rams defense. And typically, where games lie in higher scoring finishes, like, it's just because the Rams offense is torching. I mean, the highest scoring game they've had all season was against the Niners, where they dropped 42 and the Niners put down 26. Or maybe the Eagles, where the Eagles managed to pull out some crazy-ass comeback off of blocked fucking field goals and beat the Rams by 7, 33-26. In a game the Rams should have won. The Rams could be a one-loss team, but instead they're not. But they're a really good football team. And last game of the week, Panthers at 49ers. The Niners have Brock Purdy back. Obviously, they look a lot better considering they just whooped the Cardinals' arse. Even though their offense, they didn't do much too pretty. I mean, listen, guys, the Cardinals had 488 yards of offense to the Niners' 281. It was a winnable football game. We had 17 penalties for 130 yards and 3 turnovers. The Niners had 1 penalty for 15 yards and no turnovers. We handed them the football game. We spoon-fed it to them. The Niners are a pretty all-right team at best, but they're definitely enough to beat the Panthers as long as they can stop the Panthers from running the football. So give me the Niners. Lower scoring, more defensive, but give me the Niners. And that is all for my last week review and this week prediction. I hope you guys enjoyed. A like and subscribe and help a comment always helps. That's all for me. Adios.